Good morning, I'm Jake Sherman, and welcome to the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punch Bowl News. It is Monday, January 19th, 2026. Let's get into the mix. Here are your Washington headlines of the day. Number one, in Denmark, Congress confronts the monster it helped create. Number two, Trump versus Thune, the president blows up a Louisiana Senate race. And number three, the midterm messaging war so far. Let's get into it. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day today, and Congress is out, the House is out, the Senate's out, and they will return this week. Fear not, they will be back. The House will be back this week. Excuse me, the Senate will not be back. It is Davos this week. The president is heading to Davos, and so are a lot of members of Congress. Some members on that trip to Copenhagen will be heading, or have already headed, I don't know, to Davos. A big contingent of administration officials is also headed to the World Economic Forum, but Andrew DeSiderio's not. He is back in the United States after his trip from in Denmark, and he writes a really good top this morning on Congress going to Copenhagen to confront the power that it has given away to the administration, not only the Trump administration, but many administrations in the past. This is something, as you know, I have been on a heater on here on the podcast. And the item starts this morning with Dick Durbin, the Senate Minority Whip, number 2 Senate Democrat, who's retiring after this Congress, said basically that his goal, that these several lawmakers that went to Copenhagen, their goal was to try to give Trump a way out of his threat to take over Greenland, something that he's clearly not interested in, as you might have seen, and we have in the newsletter this morning. Trump sent a letter to several people in the EU saying he no longer feels like he needs to just promote peace because he didn't get the Nobel Prize. I am not kidding. That is something he actually said and wrote and to European leaders. And Chris Coons said it's not just this moment or this president. What makes this moment so hard is if Congress cannot stand up in the face of something where there's no strategic value and lots of strategic harm, is Congress really willing to exert its authority at all? Now, I think that generally speaking, the answer to that is no, that Congress is not going to stand up and has not stood up so far to the administration and doesn't have the will basically to stand up to the administration. The item ends with an anecdote from Tom Tillis, Republican of North Carolina, who says he turned on his radio in his hotel room and they were playing American Idiot by Green Day. And he said it's a really good song, but I don't think it was just because it was on the rotation. So again, Congress trying to back some authority over foreign affairs and is struggling to do so. When we get back from the break, Trump versus Thune, the Louisiana Senate race has been blown up. Number 2 story of the morning, Donald Trump has blown up yet another Senate Republican primary, throwing Republicans into turmoil and giving John Thune a headache. Trump has endorsed Julia Letlow, who's not even formally in the Senate race yet, over Bill Cassidy, which puts him at loggerheads with John Thune, meddling in a safe Republican seat. Thune has endorsed Cassidy. The pair were in Baton Rouge together just last week. All signs indicate that Letlow is going to get in the race and that she asked the White House for the nod. Trump gave Thune a heads up on the endorsement on Friday night, telling the Republican leader he was likely to back Letlow. Thune did not like that. He said it could screw up Trump's agenda. It could screw up his ability to get legislation passed and a Fed chair confirmed, but Trump didn't really care. And this is all about retribution. Obviously, Cassidy voted for impeachment, voted to convict the president. Although he has laid on the train tracks for Trump recently, helping confirm Robert F. Kennedy and kind of being screwed in that as well. SLF, the Senate Leadership Fund, is not going to get involved in this primary. They're not going to do that. They're not going to get involved in a primary where Trump is the constellation of his political operations is going to spend money and could spend money, and they could outspend SLF. The question is, does this make other people get in the race? Does Garrett Graves get in the race? Does John Fleming, who is in the race, try to get out now? It's hard to predict what's going to happen here. It's hard to predict how this impacts the Senate map overall. Some people argue it's not going to in any way because this is going to stay a red state. Number 3 story of the morning from Max Cohen. The midterm messaging war so far, 56% of Democratic ads in 2025 mention healthcare, outpacing the 17% figure for GOP-backed House ads. In GOP-backed House and Senate ads, 63% mention Trump. Almost every Republican candidate in 2026 wants voters to know they will stand with Trump. 58% of Democratic ads in Senate races feature Trump. Both parties want to talk taxes. 62% of House Republican ads mention tax policy, in addition to 29% of Senate GOP ads. No tax on tips and no tax on overtime are critical pillars of Republican messaging on the OBBB. And with that, leave us a rating and review. You can subscribe to Punchbowl News at punchbowl.news. Have a great day and stay safe.